The 11th of April saw an all-out war between KHAMZAT CHIMAEV and Gilbert Burns, being listed on the card as the co-main event of the UFC 273. Many regarded this fight as the true main event of the card. This is not taking credit away from the number 2 P4P fighter in the world, Alexander Volkanovski, who headlined it. Rather, it was to give credit to the hype and intensity which this fight engrossed. UFC 273, having been moved to Jacksonville, Florida, was headlined by Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, with the co-main event being the rematch between Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. Coming into the fight as the 11th ranked welterweight in the world, all eyes were on KHAMZAT Boris CHIMAEV, a prolific Sambo wrestler who had finished all 4 of his UFC opponents in the very first round. KHAMZAT recorded 2 finishes by submission and 2 by knockout ahead of his fight against Gilbert Burns. Perhaps the biggest story on the build-up to this fight was the leap in competition for the heavily hyped CHIMAEV, who jumped from facing unranked fighters a couple of fights away to now fighting the 3rd-ranked guy in the division. Everyone, including the UFC matchmakers, knew that there was no need in delaying KHAMZAT's rise to the top by letting him face less competition. However, did CHIMAEV prove that he belonged? To fully have a grasp of whether CHIMAEV's hype is proven to be legit, it is important to discuss the stiff opposition he faced in Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Durino Burns was not just one of the very best in the division. He was also a guy many people were scared of picking a fight against. A multiple-time world jiu-jitsu champion, Burns is a guy not to be slept on. He has crazy knockout power in his hooks and could sink in chokes off his back and in mount. He is a guy only a madman like CHIMAEV would attempt to go on the ground with. Also, having recently challenged for the welterweight title about just a year ago, Burns' fight IQ and tutelage under Henry Hoof means he had the skill set to beat CHIMAEV. In the week leading up to the fight, the betting odds were released. Rather ironically, the 3rd-ranked in the division, Gilbert Burns, was a +105 underdog, while the 11th-ranked KHAMZAT CHIMAEV came into the fight as the heavy favorite at -550. There was no way CHIMAEV was losing this fight. The odds were driven even further up in favor of CHIMAEV, who many fans and casuals alike believed would simply grab a hold of Burns, lift him over to his corner, and smash. Perhaps they seemed to forget that Gilbert Burns was a multi-time world jiu-jitsu champion and was a terror for anybody on the ground. It was Saturday night and it was time for the fight everyone had been so earnestly waiting for. It was time to test the hype, and indeed, the hype was tested. Walking out first to the octagon, the Wolf showed his usual aura of confidence as he bounced happily to the octagon. Taking things a notch even higher, CHIMAEV sat on top of the octagon cage looking at Gilbert Burns as he made his walk out, oozing the feeling of a predator waiting for his prey. This would have been intimidating to any opponent, but Burns was not one to be intimidated. With both fighters being fast starters, it was no surprise that the fight was going to be a war from the onset. As the fight started, CHIMAEV immediately took the center of the octagon, looking to score a quick knockout. The first round is the round where CHIMAEV is dangerous the most, and Gilbert wasn't allowing it. CHIMAEV shot for a takedown and got it, although getting it was relatively difficult when compared to his past opponents. It was when the fight got to the ground and Burns started looking for submission that CHIMAEV began to do away with his game plan. Apparently, it is not so easy to smash or submit a BJJ specialist like Gilbert Burns. As the high-paced round proceeded, CHIMAEV dropped Burns with a jab. Gilbert had shown to be susceptible to jabs, most evidently in his title fight against number 1 P4P Kamaru Usman, where Usman dropped Burns multiple times with jabs. However, this time, Burns refused to be finished despite CHIMAEV following up with some vicious ground and pound. Showing resilient spirit, Burns got back to his feet and it was evident CHIMAEV wasn't adding Burns to his list of quick finishes in the UFC. As the fight went on, the momentum seemed to be slightly moved away from CHIMAEV to the veteran in Gilbert Burns. Now that CHIMAEV knew grappling with Gilbert Burns was a no-go area, the fight became a stand-up fight. Gilbert's combination of power, hand speed, feet movement, and technical prowess proved to be too much for KHAMZAT during some points in the fight. Well, it is no wonder that CHIMAEV, who had absorbed a total of 4 strikes prior to this fight, had to endure 119 significant strikes in this fight. Burns' right hand found a place to call home as CHIMAEV abandoned his defense and went after the knockout. According to CHIMAEV, "I was too excited to knock him out. I always say to everybody all week, I'm going to knock him out, I'm going to knock him out. I tried to knock him out, you know. That was wrong for me from the beginning. The guy was tough. I didn't accept that at all. From the first second to last second, I tried to finish him, you know. Next time, I'm going to work a little bit smarter and yeah, I'm going to smash somebody." For sure, the top dogs are just built different. With Burns landing some good shots and winning the second round convincingly, it was down to the third and final round to see whether the hype train would be derailed. CHIMAEV's coach, however, was not having it. In the final corner break of the fight, CHIMAEV's coach passionately urged his fighter to stop brawling, to abandon trying to give a show, and to stick to the game plan by being technical. According to CHIMAEV, "Coach told me all the time, like, slow down and work more technical. I just wanted to take his head off. You know, I always go like that. And next time, I'm going to work for that." Apparently, the corner advice made some difference, turning the momentum back to CHIMAEV. In that round, CHIMAEV made technical adjustments to steal a closely disputed third round on all 3 judges' scorecards. Discussing that final round, Gilbert Burns stated, "I was the one that threw more shots in the last round, but I got hurt in the last round. I got hurt for a moment. I remember I was very wobbly and then he gave me another shot that kind of rolled me up and then I got back and I was throwing a lot of bombs, but I liked it like every time I've been in there. For sure, I hate to lose. I think I've made that clear a couple of times. But yeah, I like to be in there." Winning the fight by a 29-28 decision victory, this was the only fight of CHIMAEV's 11-0 MMA record where he didn't finish his opponent. Still undefeated, CHIMAEV is still a mystery to many. Many would agree that the victory over Burns means he is proven to belong with the very top in the division. Without doubt, it was far from being one-sided. In addition to both fighters earning the 50K Fight of the Night award, Dana White went further to reward Gilbert Burns with his contracted win money despite coming short. It is no denial that Gilbert deserved that compensation for many reasons. This fight was no doubt one of the best fights in a long time, and it would take a lot of efforts to outdo this match as Fight of the Year. This fight got everybody buzzing and there were lots of great reactions. UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou praised the contest after the final bell. He tweeted, "Great war between 2 warriors. Congrats to both fighters. Maybe you guys can put some respect on Gilbert's name now." Henry Cejudo also commented on the 170-pound war, saying that it should have been a 5-round affair. He tweeted, "We wanted 2 more rounds. Give us what we want. What a fight. #UFC 273. Daniel Cormier also reacted to the epic contest, saying that he believes the judges got the decision right. Right call, but what a damn fight, boys. At KCHIMAEV and at Gilbert Dorino, take a bow, fellas. The Rock commented on the battle between the 2 welterweight warriors. Holy sh... What a fight, Burns CHIMAEV, #UFC 273. Although CHIMAEV's first 4 UFC wins were so dominant that he had begun to develop an almost mythical reputation as an untouchable force destined to tear through the entire division, he still showed up against a tough opponent and proved that the hype is real.